Now this offers just another sense of perspective. This is across the street from where we were just a short while ago to look at the tall buildings. And here you can see everything under construction and the subway station for the number 7 train at Hudson Yards. And here we're just going to take a little look around, just to pan around so everyone is able to see what it's like. This is a park that they made for people because, again, they're anticipating it being very crowded and anticipating people wanting some extra space. But all this area around here is going to be developed. And you know for a certainty that no developer is going to leave this area undeveloped because it won't make sense. The land is too valuable, the space is too valuable. It's another building going up there. And all these buildings are low rises around here. And it makes sense. That's one of the reasons why the city allowed this unfettered development around here, because they realized that there's space, it's not crowded around here, no one's going to complain, neighbors don't care about the height of the building, and they're not so concerned with the density. That's one of the big issues, like when people are in New York and the buildings going up in New York, is the density of the buildings. 140 Broadway was a classic example of that. In the past, about 100 years ago, they built 140 Broadway, and it was considered a great building. However, they realized that it was way too dense for the area, way too much office space for the downtown area near Wall Street. So since then, they've become much more careful about allowing the density of the various buildings. But here, all the way on the west side, where there was no one, there were just railroad tracks and the Jacob Javits Center, people really didn't care that much, and the administration of the city really didn't care that much. That's why they were all very much in favor of this brand new development, because it offered such a great opportunity for all the businesses to develop. And there in the distance, right where you can see the sign, is where the Hudson River is. And that is like such a great thoroughfare. What they ultimately wanted to do was to have like a much better highway system on the west side, but that didn't work because a lot of the people that had the say in New York said that they didn't want a highway system on the west side. But that works. And then a little bit further south, there's a heliport, which makes it really interesting for for some of the people that might be working here. And if they really want to fly into work, they can fly into the heliport. That's just near 14th Street and 12th Avenue. This is 34th Street and 12th Avenue, so it's only 20 blocks away. So it's ideal for someone who might be like 2 hours away by car, but they want to fly into New York. Obviously, it's going to be very expensive, but if you work in this area and if you feel it's worth it on that day to fly in, that's what you can do. But that's one of the perks of this location. You can see how nice it is here. And again, we have the wonderful Jacob Javits Center right there. It's amazing when you go inside. It's amazing to be around this whole area. And again, this is another entrance here for the subway stop. So of course, now it's blocked off. No need for people to go in there. But when it does get crowded, it's going to be essential to have that second entrance. So much construction is going on. You can see the cement trucks all lined up, ready to go. Well, that's all part of the construction in New York. And this is the Jacob Javits Center here. And again, here you can see the construction trucks, cement trucks, all lined up also. This is just to give people an idea of everything. This is 11th Avenue and 34th Street. Look at how brilliant everything is here. And that was the park that we were just in. And that corner building is going to be 3 Hudson Boulevard, another huge building. You can almost make out the sign showing what the building is going to be like right there. And that's going to be right on the corner. And but a lot of people are going to be living here very soon. And actually, if you ever have a chance to come to New York, you should visit the Jacob Javits Center, because when you go inside, it's just phenomenal inside. It's like something out of the future. And here again, we're just going to take a turn around to take a look at all the construction going on right here on 11th Avenue. You can see all this. It's just amazing when you see it. And they're still going to do more construction. They have plans and plans and plans. The only issue is, when is it going to get all completely finished? And in New York, they typically have a plan, then they have more plans about what could be better. You can see here all the buildings along 11th Avenue and 34th Street, 11th Avenue and 33rd Street, 31st Street. As far as the eye can see, new buildings going up. But I guess that's what progress is all about. And here in the distance, right there, is the Hudson River, famous all over the world. And in some Manhattanites' mind, that's where the West Coast begins, because sometimes they don't even want to venture past the west side of Manhattan, though that's their attitude. So again, we're going to take a look all the way to the east side, and you can see here, that's the Empire State Building in the distance. And that's right exactly at 5th Avenue and 34th Street, just to give you perspective. Another quick view of the Jacob Javits Center, one of my favorite places to visit, since it's so nice to be around here. And so much is always going on at the Jacob Javits Center. This is the High Line, and this is right next to the new development. You can see all this information here, and it's really a great job. This was an old railroad track that decided to turn into a park. It's become very, very popular. You can see here, we're just going to take a brief walk along, and this is where they converted it from yards or train yards and shipping yards to a place where they're going to make more buildings like what we're seeing here. But the High Line is really well done. Just going to take a brief walk along just to see how it is. But you can see how amazing and how innovative it was on their part to do this. At first, Mayor Bloomberg was telling a lot of the building owners, it's going to be good for everyone. So then the High Line went up, and real estate values went up because it was such a popular park. And so then the city started to approach the building owners and said, hey, you know, with this extra value, you might have to pay more. And the building owners said, wait a minute, if you had told us beforehand that you were going to just use this as a way to charge a lot of extra money, we might not have agreed to it. And then the city and the building owners reached a compromise because they realized that it's good for everyone to work together. And here, this is a trucking center, but you can see how beautiful everything is here. And I can bet you that in the near future, this trucking area will be acquired, because it's going to be a lot more valuable to put up buildings here than to have trucks here. So some developers are going to offer a huge amount of money to the owner of this trucking area, and the owner is going to say, you know what, I changed my mind. I'll take the money and I'll figure out where else am I going to put the trucks. And that always makes a difference. You offer the right amount of money, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million, someone will decide that they can do something else with the space, and they could allow someone else to do something with the space, and they can move their trucks. But again, this is a great way to see the other buildings that are here. And this is just from the opposite side where we were before. We're now in the High Line Park. You can see here all the people walking along the park, just enjoying a beautiful Tuesday. And there in the distance, you're going to see the World Trade Center, and that had been erected over time. And it's just a beautiful spot right there. You can see here, so much effort is put into this. But as I said, there's a lot of empty space here. And I can bet you that in the next 10 or 20 years, all this empty space will be taken up by new buildings because it just makes sense. Now here, just a slightly different view. Now this is where you can see all the rail cars. Now that's why they called it Hudson Yards, because a lot of the trains were parked here. But as I said, you watch. In the near future, they will near future being in the next 10, 20 years. But in the near future, they will change all this around. They will put over a deck over these rail yards. Because can you imagine how many new buildings can be put up in this area? And like, look at this. Like, that's the trucking area that I'm sure will be acquired, that I'm sure will be changed. And so the clever thing that's happened, they are now using this area also for Bolt Bus, which is part of Greyhound. There you can see them picking everyone up. And also Megabus, which is part of another bus line and ferry company out of the UK. So here is another view, Jacob Javits Center. And we're going to take just a look around, just to see a little bit more of the area around where we are. And there in the distance, you can see New Jersey. Those are all the apartment buildings in New Jersey. And that is the Hudson River, with so many ships traversing the Hudson River, going to the north, coming south. And it's really a great job that they do. And here we can see in the distance more buildings. But people really enjoy like this beautiful Highland Park. Here you can see everything. Really a fantastic job. I just can't wait until everything is done. Then it's going to be really great. And here we can see a slightly different perspective. You can see the trains a little bit better through the grates, of course. But you can still see the train and the smoke and everything in New York City. And then you can look north here along the Hudson and see some of the boats. You can see one of the trains getting ready to go. But that's okay. And then in the distance, more buildings. That is in fact Jersey City. Or, as some people like to joke, Manhattan West. But you can see all those big buildings, beautiful buildings, in the distance. And there is the beautiful Hudson, and the traffic. And there's the heliport. You can see the helicopter taking off. That is for the future executives. When the executives need to travel, they'll be able to fly. And they'll be able to take just the right place, be at the right place at the right time. It's up to them. So take a look at this beautiful Hudson River.